What's up guys, welcome back to the Cobra YouTube channel. Today, along with my good friend here Chucky, we're going to be reviewing his first ever film, the 1988 classic Child's Play.
Everyone has a birthday they'll always remember.
Can we open my presents now, Mommy? A good guy! I knew it! I'm Chucky.
He's something, isn't he?
This is Andy's.
Time for bed, Andy. Good night, baby.
Good night, Aunt Maggie. Good night, Chucky.
Everyone knows most accidents happen at home.
How did that happen?
This is no accident.
Andy!
I'm Detective Mike Norris, homicide.
Andy!
Miss Peterson's dead, Miss Barkley. She fell from the kitchen window.
Someone's moved in with the Barkley family. And so has terror.
Mommy, I know who was on the counter.
Andy!
Who, Andy?
Chucky.
Nobody believes you about Chucky. He came alive in my hand.
Oh, for God's sake.
Why won't you believe me?
Because I'm sane, Mrs. Barkley. Sane and rational.
No one believes the truth. Or lives to tell it. There's nothing nice about murder. And there's nothing innocent about Child's Play.
Child's Play is a 1988 horror movie directed and co-written by Tom Holland and based on a story by Don Mancini. It is the first film in the Child's Play series and the first installment to feature the character now known as Chucky. The film stars Catherine Hicks, Dinah Manoff, Chris Sarandon, Alex Vincent and Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. Catherine Hicks plays a widowed mother who gives her son a good guy doll for his birthday, unaware that the doll is possessed by the soul of a serial killer. As always guys, if you like the content, why not give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel, help support the channel, and also hit that bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif, is a fugitive and a serial killer who's on the run. From the beginning of the film, we see him being chased at night through the streets of Chicago by a homicide detective named Mike Norris, played here by Chris Sarandon, who shoots Ray and injures him. Ray's accomplice Eddie Caputo, who we then see waiting for him, then escapes in their getaway vehicle, leaving Ray behind to fend for himself. Ray then finds a toy store and breaks in. Realizing that he is dying, with his last few breaths, he manages to perform a Haitian voodoo spell that transfers his soul into a good guy doll he was lying next to. The store is then suddenly struck by lightning and explodes. Detective Norris survives the explosion and then re-enters the shop only to find Ray's dead body next to the dolls. The following day we meet widow Karen Barkley, who is played by Catherine Hicks, who unknowingly purchases a doll which now calls itself Chucky from a homeless man as a birthday gift for her 6-year-old son Andy Barkley, played by Alex Vincent. Later that evening, Karen's best friend Maggie babysits Andy while Karen stays behind working late. After Andy's bedtime, Maggie finds Chucky sitting in front of a television tuned in to an evening newscast about Charles Lee Ray's death. She returns Chucky to bed but is then hit in the face with a hammer and falls out of a window to her death. The police arrive and search the apartment, and Detective Norris starts to think that Andy may be a suspect. Before the police leave the apartment, Andy returns to tell his mum and Detective Norris that the doll Chucky killed Maggie. Karen then angrily tells the police to leave her home. The next morning, Chucky, who seems to be talking to Andy when nobody is around, orders him to skip school and to take a train downtown. While Andy is distracted, Chucky sneaks into his accomplice's Eddie's house and kills him by causing a huge gas explosion. After the police investigate the area and find out Andy had been there, they immediately deem him a suspect and is placed in a psychiatric hospital after again claiming that Chucky is responsible for the murder. A furious Karen then returns home and picks up the good guy doll box, and in a shocking twist, a pack of batteries drop out of the box. To her horror, Karen then realizes that Chucky had been functioning all this time without batteries. She grabs Chucky and takes him to the fireplace and starts a fire, threatening to burn him unless he talks, causing him to violently finally spring to life in her arms. He then attacks Karen viciously before running out of the apartment. Karen chases after him, but Chucky manages to escape. After the unreal event, Karen goes straight to the police station and explains to Detective Mike Norris what had just happened, but the detective does not believe her again and begins to think that she might be crazy too. Karen then decides to go find the homeless man she bought the doll from and ask for him for more information on where he had found the doll. As the peddler then attempts to sexually assault her in exchange for information, Detective Norris then shows up, who has been following her, and rescues her, and the pair force the man to admit that he had taken the doll from the demolished toy store that had burnt down. Karen again tries to convince Norris that the doll is alive, but he refuses to believe her, telling her about the toy store incident and insisting that he had killed Charles Lee Ray that night. Then, in another shocking turn of events, after dropping Karen home, Norris is attacked by Chucky, and during the fight, Chucky is shot. After managing to escape, his wounds then inexplicably start to bleed and cause him pain, much to his surprise. Chucky then decides to go pay his former voodoo instructor and friend John, who informs him that the longer Ray stays in the Chucky body, the more human he will become. Chucky then demands that John help him reverse the spell, but John refuses to help him. Chucky then grabs John's voodoo doll and begins to torture John, forcing him to reveal that in order to escape the doll, Chucky must transfer his soul into Andy, who was the first human he revealed himself to. Chucky then leaves John and escapes. And after looking into Ray's other accomplices and possible whereabouts, Karen and Norris then shortly arrive at John's house to find him dying. But before he dies, John tells them that although Chucky is a doll, his heart is still fully human at this point and is vulnerable to a fatal injury and can actually be killed. Chucky arrives at the hospital where Andy is being held and kills a doctor, and in the process Andy manages to escape and goes back home. Chucky follows Andy home and knocks him unconscious in preparation for the ritual. As Chucky prepares to possess him, Karen and Mike arrive just in time to stop him. Chucky slashes Mike's leg, but is then tossed into the fireplace by Karen. Andy then drops a lit match into the fireplace, burning Chucky alive. Karen and Andy leave the room to help Mike, but a charred Chucky then escapes the fireplace and chases after Andy. Karen grabs Mike's gun and shoots Chucky several times, and he is again presumed to be dead. At that point, Mike's partner Jack then arrives at the apartment and sees all the chaos and initially refuses to believe the trio's story. Suddenly, Chucky's body then bursts through an air vent and begins strangling Jack. During the struggle, Max shoots Chucky in the heart, finally killing him, and the film ends. Child's Play was released in the United States on November the 9th, 1988. It grossed more than $44 million and had a production budget of $9 million. Along with the film gaining a cult following, especially when released onto home VHS, and kids, if you don't know what that is, just ask mom and dad. The box office success spawned a franchise that includes a series of 6 sequels, merchandise, comic books, and a reboot film of the same name, which released in summer 2019. One thing I loved about older horror movies was the technology and the special effects that were used. For Child's Play, the crew used various ways to portray Chucky, including radio-controlled animatronics, extras of short stature for certain scenes, and even child actors, along with various cosmetics which were used for every scene throughout the film to make Chucky as lifelike as possible. The crew also created multiple Chucky animatronics, like an angry tantrum Chucky, a walking Chucky, and a stationary Chucky. And then the amazing animatronics for Chucky's face were controlled via remote control and through a rig capturing facial movement on a real life person, a technique that was used in many other films of this style to very good effect. The Child's Play films were also very well known for their controversy, with the films being plagued with accusation of inciting violence in children. Child's Play 3 was even accused of inspiring 2 murders, of which one took place here in the UK in December 1993 with the horrifying and tragic murder of poor James Bolger. And at the time, director Tom Holland, in response, defended the film, stating that viewers of horror movies could only be influenced by the content if they were quite unbalanced to begin with, a statement I kind of agree with. And as for Alex Vincent, who played the young Andy Barclay, no, he's not mentally scarred, he's actually doing really well, and he actually appeared in one of the more recent Chucky films as an adult. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this retro review of the Child's Play movie. As always, subscribe to the channel, drop me a like, hit that bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video, and I will see you guys on the next Joe Cobra video. Take care guys, bye bye.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?